Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and jelly babies. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. You're here with Morris. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for coming back. In case you missed the little notice that I put in the description of these videos, there'll be a new episode every Monday and Thursday. I figure that 2 a week is kind of manageable because they're quite long episodes to actually put together. So 2 a week I figure is quite manageable. I was originally thinking 1 a week, but I thought it's probably going to take about a year to, to complete it at that rate. Knowing me, most games do. So hopefully that's okay. Why are there always echo herbs in that chest? Anyway, in the last episode we had just we'd kind of dipped our toe into the battle system of this game. We teamed up with Pinello very briefly out in the Giza Plains to obtain a sunstone for old Dallin, who in return gave us a stone which will allow us a secret entryway, to open up a secret entryway into the palace, so we can take back what is rightfully ours from these Empire dogs who have invaded our beloved nation. And I don't know why I'm saying that with a hint of sarcasm, because that is exactly what's happening. So Vaughn is really quite justified in what he's doing at the moment. So let's go. There's not really much we can kind of do in the way of the things around town or anything like that. We got no money. We got no anything going on really. So we just gotta go for it. Storehouse 5. Ah, kite! You scared me. Hey Vaughn, I worked out how to get the door on the left side open. Hope there's something in there besides rats. I waited for you because I'm such a nice guy. Thing is, I'm going to need some special tools to open the door. Going to need you to go fetch them for me. I know, not the most exciting thing to do, is it? Heh. Oh, I'm just kidding. Oh, kites. I don't know whether that's a little snide comment on fetch quests. I don't know. Anyway, hang on while I open this shit. Let's see, that should do it. What is that? What is that noise he's making there? Ang, Haroof. Who makes that noise? What is that? What is he doing to the lock? It's open. Well, whatever he was doing, it worked. I almost forgot. Take these with you before you go. No telling what's down there. 4 vials of eye drops. 4 vials of eye drops. That's a bad sign. Like, if I go to the doctor's because there's a problem with my eyes, and he says, take these eye drops, he's probably going to give me a maximum of 1 vial of eye drops, but the Kites just gave me 4. I mean, how much danger are my eyes in to give me 4 vials of eye drops? Anyway, let's not think about it too much. So here we are, the Garam Scythe Waterway. So this is the first dungeon, I suppose, of this whole game. So we'll give it another wee save. Save at every possible opportunity, guys. I really like the music down here as well. I've said it before, but all the tracks are really good. Anyway, so this is the first dungeon. So again, I'm not going to kind of skip through everything because we're still sort of being introduced to stuff at the moment. There's nothing of massive interest down here in terms of chests. It's worth just kind of having a wee look around. Is there one there? Yeah, we might as well go for it. So, in terms of the dungeon crawling in this game, again, I have to. The only thing I could really do is make comparisons with how things used to be. Don't you run away from me, rat. And the game, although as much as I love it, all right, as much as I genuinely love it, it was kind of unbalanced and it was kind of unfair. And there are things that are still present in this version that are still a little bit unfair in my eyes. We're not that far ahead yet, but it seemed to me that there were a lot of areas in the game. That's worth it, Phoenix down. It seemed to me that there were a lot of areas in the game, even if you go through... Whoa, I got a leather shield as well. What? Nice. I don't think I can even use that, can I? Dude, if I can equip that. I never got that last time. That's brand new to me. Okay, I don't know where the hell that is, but we can't use it. Anyway, it seemed to me that even if you go through the game and, you know, you fight pretty much everything. I think that's the implication, is fight pretty much everything. Don't just kind of run through, otherwise you're not going to be able to beat the boss and things like that. But even if you did that, it seemed to me like there were instances where you had to kind of level up. You had to do a bit of grinding to just get your strength up a little bit. And I'm not a fan of grinding at all. If your game demands that you grind, I think it's wrong. I think it's a bit, it's obvious. To me, that's a clear indication that things are a little bit unbalanced. But now things have been, again, just remade to the point where it's a lot more, it's a lot fairer. It's a lot more of a fair system. So now, again, go through the dungeons, fight pretty much everything. You know, do a bit of exploration as well. Nice, 2 hits. Pick up all the chests and everything. And when you reach the boss, you will likely be at the appropriate level to beat that boss fairly comfortably. You know, you'll still have to kind of plan and kind of, you know, adapt in the middle of battles and things, but for the most part you'll be okay. And that's exactly the way it should be. But again, there were just instances in the old version where it was like, I have to gain more levels. I simply can't do this. I mean, again, I was 11 years younger, so maybe I was just not as good at RPGs as I am now, but RPGs aren't that complicated, or they shouldn't be that complicated, really. I don't know why, but some of these rats, before you actually start fighting them, they start out confused. So they will attack themselves, and I don't quite know why that is. There must be something in these waters. And you'll notice when we finish this rat off in the bottom right, there you go. We currently got an 8 chain. That just basically means we've killed 8 rats in a row. But the chain level is basically dictates the level of loot that you'll get, like how good the loot rewards will be. So if you chain together, you know, 50 of the same enemy type, then you'll be getting really good rewards. And when you pick up those little loot bags, some of them will, you know, give you health, or they'll replenish your MP, or you just think maybe they'll give you status effects like protect and things like that. Ow! Jeez. And again, because I killed a bat, that kind of kills your chain. But we don't really... Again, there aren't many... Oh wow, 24 potions, that's a lot. There aren't really many areas in the game where you kind of get really, really big chains, unless you know, go for it, unless you're aware. There's one specific one I can think of later on, but it's many hours away. Don't you run away from me, rat. One of the things I like about this dungeon, although it doesn't really look that complicated, there are quite a few areas in this game where you'll go somewhere because of the story, but then if you come back later on, you can unlock other areas to the dungeon you didn't even know were there. You know, much more difficult areas. You know, there are more treasures to be found. I gotta take a sip of water. I have water with me today just because I'm talking a lot in these episodes. At the end of both of the previous episodes, I've had a really, really sore throat just because I've been talking so much. What do we got in this chest? What are you guys hiding? An antidote. Who put that there? What are you? An ichthon. Ichthon? I don't know. You got a green health bar, so I don't really want to fight you. I tend not to fight things that don't attack me. A lot of the times it's because they're way tougher. They're kind of almost optional challenges if you find an enemy like that. So yeah, just going back to what I was saying about leveling up. Now it seems as though levels kind of almost mean a lot more. You know, the levels were kind of negligible in the last incarnation of this game. So you could level up quite a bit and it would only make a marginal difference. But now it seems like levels are much more valuable. Wow, where did that rat come from? So this is one of the things I like about this particular job, is because you mostly use daggers and you can also use ninja swords, which is kind of an interesting classification of weapon for a Final Fantasy game. A javelin, holy hell, I did not know that was there. That is not, I don't know if that's a guaranteed drop. I'm gonna have to look that up. I did not know a javelin would be there, but that's handy. Anyway, what? I don't even remember what I was saying. That javelin has thrown me off so much. Oh, sorry, yeah, the job system. The reason I like this particular job for Fran is just because you have a good chance, because you use such, you know, daggers and ninja swords are quite quick weapons. So it seems to me like you have a much greater chance of comboing with them. And comboing in this game is huge. Again, it's another thing which I think has been rejigged a little bit, so you combo a lot more often than you used to. I think that the highest I've ever got is 10 hits in a row. Which, when you're doing, you know, thousands of HP damage, getting a 10-hit combo is kind of a big deal. The palace should be right up these stairs. Let's climb it. Won't be easy getting out. Am I ready for this? I think I'm ready. It's now or never. Who might they be? The Royal Palace of Ramanasta. Looks nice. Alright, so we have our first urn. And inside these urns are mostly maps. Not always the case, sometimes you can find some very unique items in there. But most of the time it's a map, so always pick those up. Alright, so this save crystal gives us a very interesting message. You will not be able to leave this area easily. You may wish to save your game to a new file. Almost encouraging you to rotate your saves. And I remember the very first time I went through this, I had a real tough time going through this whole section. Because it is kind of a... We are not going to see Ramanasta for a long time. And it only ever gives you that message at certain places in the game, but I always found it quite... I always found it quite shocking that it would give you such a difficult dungeon so early on. But I guess it's your first real challenge of the whole game, so... I don't know, maybe it makes sense to give you a bit of a warning there. Anyway. I think there are a few chests in here which we want to pick up. This was another location where if you wanted to obtain the Zodiac Spear, don't pick up the chests in this room. Ugh, so stupid. I want to throw up at that idea. Because why would you not pick things up? And I believe these items are all fixed as well. So, it's worth grabbing them all. Have you gathered up all of the occasionals? That's an interesting word to classify as. You'll be on cleanup duty when the fate's over. Thanks. No one goes to the upper floor until we give the order. Step out of line and you will be punished. Well, I'll not step out of line then. You're gonna let me through though, right? No? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it was too brash to just try and walk up. What's he doing? Trying to go upstairs? As a matter of fact, sir, I am. Trying to go upstairs, ain't you? I know. You're hungry, I don't blame you. An empty stomach can make me want to crash the fate too. Nope, don't try and hide it. No, no. Don't try and explain to me that you're here to steal something. I know that you're hungry. Check out this sick technique. Press square to call the guard.
Hello?
Now's your chance, get going. So this guard probably has the worst peripheral vision I've ever seen of anyone. Because now we can just now we can just run past right up the stairs. So yeah, this is just introducing us to another little mini game just to get through this next section. Because obviously we can't go around slaughtering Imperial guards. That would not be well, even if we could do that, I don't think we're strong enough to try and attempt that just yet. What was it Aldalan said? The signet yearns for sunstone strength to light the clouded way. Once in the palace, you find the signet tile, give to it the sun's power, and it will light your path. Okay, I'll go do that. But there are guards everywhere, so we got to distract them all by yelling at them. No, I don't want to inspect that. That's wrong.
Hey, Buckethead!
That's my favorite one! That's right, Buckethead, you come this way. Although these guards are kind of stupid, because clearly he can see me. I mean, what's in those helmets? Is there even any eye holes whatsoever? Is there a visor? I don't know. Anyway, we'll just grab this chest real quick. An armlet. That's actually very useful. Oh, we're already wearing one. Oh well. It's nice to have a spare. Raises your max health slightly. Okay, so if I remember, I think it's the one with the lion. Yeah. It appears to be a representation of a lion. And that opens up a secret passageway. Now then, I'm trying to remember how to get to the secret passageway. Yeah, there's a guy there, isn't there? So I think you gotta lure everyone. Is it, or is it down there? I can't remember. Oh yeah, no, I remember. You gotta drag everybody out of out of position.
Over here!
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This did take me quite a while originally. And if you get caught, you get sent back to the beginning again. It's really quite frustrating.
Hello?
Hey guys, I got something for you over here. It's really interesting. Suckers. Hey you.
Over here!
Really interesting. Right over here. Suckers. Yeah, these Imperial guards are not painted as the most intelligent. And over here we should have our secret passageway. And I guess it just opens. Well, that takes care of the secret passage. Now let me find me some treasure. Not going back the way we came. This is a little bit obscure, but... See a small object that looks like a switch. Ugh. Slap the wall. And we'll look at this this suspicious looking wall. This wall looks rather suspicious. Yeah, it's a little bit silly, but it is a secret passageway, come on.
Huh?
Quite a performance.
Who are you?
I play the leading man. Who else? Fran, the magicite.
Now then, I'll take that.
No, you won't. I found it. It's mine.
And then when I take it from you, it'll be mine. Exit stage right.
The gods do not smile on us.
I like it better that way.
And so enters the main reason why we play this with the English voice actors. Anyway, we'll talk about those two very shortly. For now, let's just make our escape.
What's going on?
The Ifrit, eh? That's quite an entrance. Impeccable timing. If I didn't know better, I'd say they were waiting all along. Stop running! End of the line. You have something that belongs to me. Damn!
All this way!
Fran, let's move! Off with you!
Let go of me!
Keep this up and I will. What's going on, Fran?
I don't know, it's not heating me.
Don't have time for this.
Slip me!
Not good.
What happened? Our hover didn't just drop. It disappeared.
Ah, forget it. Even if we could fly, the Ifrit's playing with fire, and I'd rather not get burned. We'll go the old-fashioned way. Not many Viera where you come from, thief?
It's Vaughn. Sorry.
Well, Fran is special in that she deigned to partner with a Hume.
Oh? Like a sky pirate that chooses to steal through the sewers.
Pirates? You're sky pirates? So you have an airship?
It's Balthier. Listen, thief, Vaughn, if you ever want to see your home again, you'll do exactly as I say. Myself, Fran, and you, we're working together now. Understood?
Don't even think you're getting this.
The thought never crossed my mind.
Balthier and Fran join the party. That's the best news I've had all day. Oh my lord. So where to even begin with these two? So, you remember what I was saying about Vaughn being this kind of lens to observe the whole world? That selection of scenes there is the reason why I think that. Because clearly there's more going on than Vaughn sneaks into the palace to steal something. You know? If just for a minute, imagine... This is one of those times where I wish I could articulate myself as well as I know I want to. But just for a second, imagine that Balthier was the main character. And he was the guy that you run around town with and everything. And yeah, you know, some things are a little bit different, but Balthier is, well, for starters, he introduces himself as the leading man. He introduces himself as kind of the hero, which, you know, I really love. But I think I love that because you start off as Vaughn. You don't actually start off as Balthier, but he's still the hero of his own kind of story. But the remark he makes about the ship, you know, when he says, if I didn't know better, I'd say they were waiting all along. To me, that's this kind of implied thing of Balthier knows a lot about what's going on in the world. But if you were Balthier, as a player, we don't really know what's going on in the world. So it makes much more sense that we approach that from Vaughn's perspective rather than Balthier, if that makes sense. And, you know, Balthier is really... He is a sky pirate with a gun. He's kind of... We were saying about Star Wars, Balthier is basically Han Solo in this story. Whereas Vaughn is more Luke Skywalker. Yeah, he's kind of the hero main character, but everybody loves Balthier, right? Anyway, we'll talk more about him as we go on. There's something I want to check before we set out. I can't do Balthier's voice, but I wish I could. As I thought, you don't know much about gambits yet, do you? Listen carefully. I don't care to repeat myself. For each gambit, you can combine one action with a target for that action. And he gives a bit of an explanation, but I'm going to explain it myself anyway. So this is the main gambit menu. This is where you set up your strategy for fighting. And it just kind of gives you examples of the different things you can do. So, whenever an ally gets hurt, I'll toss a potion his way. Charming, eh? Of course, there's a sure way to go through our stock of potions, so let's adjust the target to make sure things don't get out of hand. This is all automated, by the way. Oh, it says auto on the screen, so I can't make this go any faster. Alright, so now that if an ally's HP goes below 70%, we'll throw a potion. It's pretty simple, really. Especially this early on. You can also prioritize gambits. So anything at the top takes priority over things at the bottom. And you can turn them off and on. if you must. There aren't really many occasions where I turn them off. That's the long and short of it. Don't put all your faith in any one combination. With each passing day, the world finds new and exciting ways to kill a man. Be flexible. If you find yourself up against beasts that don't take well to fire, create a gambit to cast fire. It's very simple. Let's be off then, shall we? Let's.
Insurgents. Most like they thought to take advantage of a lax watch at the palace while the fate's on, to feed the good consul a length of steel for his supper. I should think Vane used to such hospitality. Clever. He used himself as the bait to draw them near, and then sent in the air brigade. A fine, bloody banquet. I dare say I've soiled my cuffs. If a dungeon's waiting for us at the end of the night, it had best have a change of wardrobe.
So again, just the whole idea of you can't have Balthier as the main character because Balthier knows too much. And anytime you're presenting a world and a story, you have to do it from the point of view of somebody who doesn't know as much about it. I hope that makes sense. If anybody, by the way, if I say anything and you kind of go, what the hell are you talking about? Feel free to ask that question. Preferably with a timestamp. Sometimes I can explain myself a little bit better via the written word rather than the spoken one. So now we have a party of 3. And there are certain occasions, one's actually coming up, where we are afforded a guest character who takes up a 4th slot. But for the majority of the game, 3 is the maximum that you can have. And another urn with another map. So this waterway is a lot bigger than... Well, it's a lot bigger than even that map actually shows. Anyway, before we continue, we should probably establish what these 2 characters are actually going to be doing. If we go into the license menu, you can see again, no license board. So there are probably a whole number of combinations and different ways you can play this. But for me, again, I'm going off what I did in my first game. I think it provides a pretty good balance. But you can see that Balthier, if we just go to the equipment, is equipped with a gun, and Fran is equipped with a bow. By the way, here's Fran. Now, even at 15, I was aware of Playboy bunnies, and it's difficult to say that the inspiration could have been anything different. But there you go, Fran's a Vieira. She's pretty cool. Anyway, so we have guns and bows. So for me, I like to give the license board... I like to give the correct license board to the character that I feel will be most likely to have that. So for Balthier, if I can just find it, a machinist or a machinist. I don't know which one you'd want to go with. Warriors who snipe their foes with deadly precision. Primary weapons, guns. So for me, it makes sense for Balthier to use guns. So we're going to be going with that one. And for Fran, we'll go with Archer. Makes perfect sense. Now, that doesn't really afford us anything special early on because, like I say, Balthier already has a gun. So Balthier can always use that gun, as far as I'm aware, regardless of what you pick, as well as Fran can always use the bow. But it's nice to kind of get a head start on these things. Plus, it means you can start developing your characters at the earliest possible opportunity, which I like. Anyway, I'm going to buy another Gambit slot just real quick. It's always nice to have a spare. Get one for Fran as well. By the way, there may be times when I do the whole license thing off screen, because sometimes I like to kind of really plan ahead where we're going, but I'll always explain any developments like that I do off camera. I'll always take a minute just to explain. But this is why I don't want to. I want to cut certain things out because I don't want to have, you know, a 30-minute episode of me looking at a shop menu, deciding what to buy, because sometimes that happens. Anyway, what else have we got? I think that's pretty much all we need to do for now. We also now have the party menu, even, where we can decide which party members we want in. There's nothing really to note about that at this point because we only have 3 people. But one thing that does come in handy sometimes, it certainly used to anyway, but if I rocked around as Fran only, I get more XP, whereas if I put three party members in, the XP is shared over 3 people. I couldn't actually confirm if that's the same in this version. It might be worth... Let's try testing that out now, actually. What do we got? We got a rat here. How much XP do I get from this rat? It's probably very dangerous trying to do this with 1 person now, but... Right, so that's 18 XP there. So if I kill another rat, it should be about 6 each. But then again, this game has been totally rebalanced, so there's no real need to kind of run around only with 1 character just to maximize XP gain for that character. There you go, 6 XP for that rat, even though it was exactly the same. Alright, so last thing, gambits. So this is the full gambit menu now that we have access to, and this is where you, like I say, set up your strategy for your team. Now, for the most part, you kind of have 1 strategy for going through dungeons, and then you have a specific strategy for bosses. But because we can't really do that much, Fran, what are you doing? You tease with your jacket kind of half hanging off there. Because we don't really have that much in the way of abilities at all, there's not really a whole lot that we can actually do in terms of changing this stuff. I tend to fill up the gambit slots as much as I can. So again, we don't have that much. You can see all these kind of question marks where things are going to appear. But the basic gist is you have a target on this side and then you have an action on this side. Oh, and Fran knows Cure. That'll be handy. So for now, as the tutorial handily showed us, I tend to just have Fran on magic duty for the time being. So that's your kind of dungeon crawling strategy. Mostly attack for now. But if anybody goes below a certain amount of health, Fran will be very kind and cure us. And as we're going through this next stage, you'll notice at the bottom where all the names and the health is, you can see how Fran's attack gauge, or action gauge, it's called the ATB gauge. The like active time gauge, I think it is called. I don't think that's its proper name. I suppose action gauge just makes a little more sense. But anyway, his fills up a lot quicker because of the weapon type he's using. And each weapon type has a kind of different stats. Different sort of hidden stats, I guess, associated with it. So guns are by far the slowest. They're the slowest weapon in the whole game. But they ignore an enemy's defense. So, for the most part, they'll do the most damage all the time, but they're a little bit slower to actually charge up. And bows are kind of a halfway point. And you know, I mean, it sounds obvious, but you can't combo with a gun. You will never fire twice, just the same with bows, really. So they tend to be higher damage, but there's less chance of getting combos off. Which is a shame, but again, it's always nice to have a bit of a balance. And I'm just going to go through and kill most things in this dungeon. So there you go, Cure Spell out of nowhere. And again, you're probably looking at this and going, it seems to all happen a bit automatically. There doesn't seem to be that much planning to it. But it's all about knowing what it is that you're supposed to be doing, really. I mean, obviously knowing ahead of time what the dungeon actually entails. And again, this being the first one, obviously there's not going to be that much going on at the moment, but it gets more complex as we go through the game. And especially now because of the way you can set out your party. I'm always swapping in party members and always changing gambits up all the time, trying to find that kind of perfect system. So I guess this would be a good time also to start talking about the way enemies fight as well, because I mean, I'm not sure how they program it, but the way I internalize it in my own mind is that enemies also have kind of their own set of gambits. So for the most part, they'll attack the party leader. So if I go up as Vaughn, they'll attack Vaughn just because, you know, I'm the first one that they see. Vaughn is the first one that they see, so they'll obviously attack Vaughn first. But they go off certain criteria. So for the most part, it'll be whoever is healing. They'll almost every enemy in this game is programmed to go after the healer first. But it kind of depends, because it depends on a few different factors, but yeah, it's mostly healing. But I think after that, it's based on who is doing the most damage to that particular enemy in the party. Can I get you to come up here?
Yeah.
And then after that, it just tends to be who the enemy can see first.
Yeah.
Not sure what Balthier is doing. Seems to be just shooting whoever the hell he wants. I guess one of the most important gambits that you can really set up, even this early on, is to make sure, I'll show you real quick, is to make sure that party leader's target and attack is always top of the attack commands. Because that's just a very simple way of focusing the damage. So then you don't have all your party members attacking everyone and anyone who comes near them. But again, that's very simple. That's, again, RPG 101, isn't it, really? Focus fire. Again, nothing massively to point out in terms of these chests in this dungeon. It's all kind of semi-random and there's nothing that massive to pick up. Although I was wrong about the javelin. I didn't realise that was there. Unfortunately, no one can use it at this point. But that was a nice surprise. Oh, precious save crystal. And again, it'll always give you that message of, nah, you might not be able to get out of here quickly. Or easily. Which one do I want? That one. This game is definitely a lot easier than it used to be, though. I mean, I say easier, it's still a challenge, it's just not as... It just doesn't seem as unfair as it used to be.
Who would be next?
Close ranks, bring her down.
Jump down! Hurry!
She's not alone.
Our ranks grow by the hour.
And our troubles with them.
Balthier is always very quick to... quick with the one-liners, I guess. Wow, who was using dark? I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah.
It's a little mini boss fight, nothing that spectacular.
You all right?
Thank you.
I'm Vaughn, and this is Balthier, and hey! What's your name?
Amalia.
Amalia, huh? Nice to meet you.
There were others with me. I'm sorry. No.
Huh?
Oh, now isn't that impressive?
Don't get any ideas. I said it's mine.
I'm afraid the jury's still out on that one.
You stole that?
Yeah.
Have you finished? When the guards don't report in, they'll come looking for us.
If they aren't already.
You should come with us. Better than being by yourself.
Very well.
What's wrong with her?
You have a lot to learn before we even get started on your thievery.
What's that mean?
The situation requires I accept such help as I find, though it be from thieves. I shall accompany you until we find my companions, no longer.
Let's think of her as a guest, then. Unlike Fran or myself, our guest probably won't be taking orders from anyone anytime soon, and she'll leave when she pleases. So we keep to our affairs and she to hers. I doubt we'll find her wanting in valor, being such an upstanding member of the insurgents.
Resistance. Well, what are we waiting for?
Well, I was waiting for you, actually. Unlike other party members, guests can only use certain actions and abilities. And that little explanation from Balthier there is again a little bit dated. Because he says that, you know, our guests won't be taking orders from anyone anytime soon. And that's because you could never actually control anything that your guests did. They had their own set of actions and they would follow them, and that's it. You couldn't change it, you couldn't change anything. But now, you can actually control the guests. You can run around as them, and you can also mess with their gambits as well. So Amalia also has a cure one and an attack one. We'll just modify that a little bit. I've never actually seen these because I didn't look at them the first time around. But yeah, there you go. So there too. But you can't change their equipment or take them out of the party. Guests will get. You can see that little lock symbol just to the left of, her icon there. You can't actually take them out of the party. So yeah, this 4 characters is the maximum that you can ever really have. And that little symbol there, the little blue symbol next to her health bar, is Libra. So she must have something on which gives her that status. Basically means we can get a bit more information about enemies, which is handy. In fact, I should get that for Vaughn or somebody pretty swift. I think I need to buy it. And I probably enjoy the sections that you have guests in your party more than any other, because they are so useful to have. It's you know, I can't overplay. I can't you know, big up the guests enough, because it's just so handy having that 4th person there to either just take an extra hit or to throw a cure spell out there or something like that. You know, just it's amazing. Yeah, that's right. So because Amalia has a cure gambit on, there's no point in having Fran do it as well. Might as well take advantage, like I say, of Amalia's healing ability. And we're going to need the MP as well for this next little encounter. So yeah, this is not necessarily a boss. It's just a little bit of a tougher encounter, really. Against these Flans, and as you can see there, top left. So with Libra, we can see, we can always see their name, but now we can see what level they are, we can see their health, and we can also see that they are weak to fire. So why don't we take advantage of that? Oh god, blind. That's no good. So, in any battle where you have to rely a little bit more on magic, which isn't very many, but, you know, there are occasions where it's necessary. I always find it better to be in control of the mage, because you can gain MP back from using ethers like normal, like any other RPG, or any other Final Fantasy at least. But you actually gain a little bit of MP back just from running around. So if you leave the magic to another character, they tend to kind of just stand still while they're casting the magic. So by controlling the mage, I mean, the difference is not really anything, almost. But it is enough of a difference to, you may as well control the mage and just run in circles around the enemy just to get a few points of MP back, because, you know, an extra spell when you're about to run out of magic just might be the difference. And then after a lot of encounters in this game, you get this really cheesy victory screen where everybody kind of poses for themselves. I don't know. I don't know what's going through everyone's head. We better look cool because we just fought a boss. Anyway. Fortunately, that blind didn't really do anything, because I don't think blind only affects physical attacks and not magic attacks. So, which is very strange, because you wouldn't really want a blind person casting fire, would you? But there you go. Speaking of fire, I forgot to mention that little line of Balthier's when we first land back in the waterway, when he says, "The Ifrit's playing with fire and I'd rather not get burned." Again, because this was the first Final Fantasy game I ever played, I didn't know that the Ifrit was, you know, a summon from previous games. And that's a theme throughout this one, in that all of the airships, or at least the battle airships of the Empire, are all named after the summons of previous games. Which I think is a really, really cool detail. And it's implied a little bit, not that much, but it's implied that although they're ships that have obviously been built, they are still kind of, they almost have a life of their own. They're almost like sort of sentient, but I don't know, it's never really explored that much. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it for now, guys. Wow, it's another hour, really, really flying through this. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you're enjoying it. Things are getting a little bit more complex in terms of the story and the battle, and we got more characters, and there's even more to come, so I hope you're enjoying this, guys. And I hope to see you all in the next part. And I will see you in a bit. Have a great day. See you later.